is the 23rd of February. So I made two different posts on YouTube. Two podcasts that had to do with Mitch Rompola. I was on his bandwagon from day one. But let's just get into number 3. We'll go from there. Rompola, number 3.
Every hunter out there wants deer coming into their stand, right? Why do we use full force hunting products? That's why.
All right, Rompola number 3. The first two got some people all stirred up. They got all stirred up because of my opinion. I guess if you get that stirred up, you have nothing better to do. I was on the bandwagon. I mean, when I heard that Mitch had shot this giant buck, I was kind of like, cool. Michigan has something positive to add to their rich history of deer hunting. I can't. There's always guys out there questioning why he denied having the antlers x-rayed. I don't think it really was the antlers, and I wish people would stop saying antlers because it was more about the skull plate than anything. So when he kind of denied that, that's kind of when my skepticism started. But I always stayed truthful and faithful in believing all this. And the more and more information that gets thrown out there, the more negativity it pulls in for everybody. Now, with Mitch, I guess the reason why the whole X-ray thing had come up, is because of Mitch's background. I don't know what it is, and I don't care what it is. But I guess he had a very sketchy background, and with other guys in the industry that he had worked with, they were the first ones to say this isn't real. And when I caught wind of that a few years ago, this is when I was kind of like, all right, I'll jump in on this and see what happens. Mitch Rompola fan page. I was a part of that. I was in and off that page a lot. There was times I booted it off and didn't want to pay any attention to it. And, so I would say about a little over a month ago, I jumped back on just to see what was being said, and I didn't know anything about the Skeptics page. Now, with me talking about these two pages, it's definitely going to stir up some crap. I can see it coming. I see it coming. But it's not what I'm here to do. So I'm on the fans page, and I'm reading all this, and the more and more I read, I'm like, does not anybody else see what I'm seeing? And a lot of people that, I asked, I would chirp in on a couple things, but nothing was negative, and it was just kind of me digging for answers, I guess. guess. And I would go look at these people that were replying to me, where they lived, where they're from, so on and so forth. And they're all out of state. 95% of them are out of state. I was kind of like, all right, maybe they don't know what it's like here. And it's not, I can't say Michigan is a one-of-a-kind state to hunt. But it kind of is in a way. Are there? I mean, the majority here where I live, and I live in hunt in the same area as Mitch does. So, it's odd because you can have, like the farmland, like farmland, or if you're in southern Michigan or Ohio, Indiana. A big farming state, you'll have in a square mile probably 100, 200 acres of woods, and the rest is open fields. Here it's complete opposite, but you can drive 30, 40 miles in the woods on trails, and they're so vast. And the area that Mitch had shot the supposedly world record, is a heavy populated area. And where he says he shot it, that buck would have been seen 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Anyway. When I laugh and I giggle like that, that doesn't mean I'm making fun of Mitch. I'm making fun of the situation. How us older men are acting childish about this whole thing, instead of just sitting down and talking about the differences. Like I said, I was on that bandwagon forever. And then I just seen all this evidence, and I just thought to myself, am I the only one seeing this? I just don't get how somebody can drive 2 hours south to a totally different county, hunt for a day and a half, and shoot a buck over 25 inches. That looks extremely like the rest of them. That was the first thing that said, I'm out. I'm out. And then all these other pictures started popping up. I'm like, as much as I would like to be on this bandwagon, I just can't anymore. I can't. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Mark here from Buckeye Outdoors. If there's one thing that we like to use in our woods, it's full force hunting products when the shot counts.
All right, back with my matching hat. I don't know if any of you guys really know, but I am the owner of Full Force Hunting Products, and we carry a full line of attractants and rope kits and minerals and all that good stuff. Anyways, getting back to the 2 pages. I was, and I'm not trying to bash the owners of the fan page. But it sure seems like that somebody asked a small question and boom, they're gone. Again, dude, if you're listening to this, I was a fan of that page. I was on that page. And for me to be booted off of it, I'm not a skeptic anymore. I'm not a fan. I know the truth. And you can say what you will, do what you will. You can go on my page, you can go on my YouTube, and you can bash me all you want. I got thick skin, brother. You're not going to hurt me. Not at all. But anyway, so I learned, I got enough information off the fan page to really help me decide, made up my mind on what the truth really is. And somebody says to me about this, mentions the skeptic page. I look it up and I jump on there. Excuse me, I got to chew. And I see I'm with like-minded people, I guess. But I'm not trying to play one page against the other. I just ask everybody to look at the same evidence. And most of the guys that I looked at on the fan page weren't from Michigan. They don't know what the land is like up here. God, the winters are horrible. Actually, the last two haven't been. As I say that, it was like almost 60 degrees yesterday. But which has been nice. Gosh, my first couple years up here in the snow belt area was tough. It was tough. The one year we got 12 foot by Christmas, man. That was a rough year, man. But you gotta love lake effect, man. And I think that's part of the reason why Michigan implemented the antler point restriction in these 13 counties in the northwestern lower, is because of the devastation of the winter kill off. I mean, it's just one. It was hard enough to really kind of see deer around here. Second, shit, man, you're lucky to see anything bigger than a 6-point, man. It was crazy. And that's where I didn't hunt around here. I had land down in Gladwin, Clare counties, which are rich in good soil and Amish country. There are some good bucks down there, very good bucks. Probably Gladwin County is probably the best county I have ever hunted for number of deer and quality of bucks. I mean, when I was leasing land down in southern Michigan, Jackson, Lenawee, Calhoun counties, there were some good bucks, but there just wasn't many deer at that time. But anyway, getting back to this whole Rompola thing. So we didn't have the best herd up here forever. Back when Mitch had supposedly shot this buck, it was I think the deer numbers were at its height about that time. This whole northern part of the lower peninsula is where everybody came to hunt, because there were so many damn deer, it was ridiculous. And there was, in this whole area, you had to think there had to have been 500,000 hunters during gun season that were out in the woods. And I'm guessing the majority of those were in the northwestern lower peninsula around Traverse City. And tell me nobody's come forward to say, hey, I seen that buck. So again, I'm laughing because of the situation. I guess I just can't wrap my head around this anymore. With with him taking that one. Now, again, if that was the only one he ever shot, and he didn't come up with his Rompola Bucks page or Bucks or Rompola, I don't know, whatever it was called, and didn't want to put it in the record books because he was just that type of guy, I'd still be on that bandwagon. But he is, I think himself has done himself in. He was his own worst enemy throughout this whole thing. Again, you can't sit there and tell me that you're 9 years old and you supposedly shot the Missouri state record, and then you did it again at 14 and there's no record of it. And I've searched, and if anybody does have record of that, please come forward and show me, and I'll be glad to apologize for it. And then he comes to Michigan and he starts shooting these things in an area that doesn't have them. It's a very tough pill to swallow. Growing up, I'm big into hunting. I'm huge into hunting. I was an outfitter for over 20 years. I grew up in a hunting family. I now own a hunting products company. He was my idol, and that was heartbreaking to start seeing all this negative stuff, and just now in my head it's like, dude, what'd you do to yourself? Yeah, you go from being a scorer, chairperson, commemorative Bucks of Michigan, to you're putting bucks in the record books left and right from what I see, and then you do this and you don't put it in the record books. I mean, come on, man. Come on. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, back. So, I don't know why. I don't know why Mitch would just do something like this. He's a man in his own head. Your credibility is shot, and it would seem like every time there's a new record being shot, like recently there was the New American record that was shot, and all of a sudden the whole Mitch Rompola thing blows back up again, and it'll settle. I know it'll settle back down in a year or so, and I wish the guys on the fan page would just look at it as what it is, guys. It's not real. Do I think the antlers were altered? Not one bit. Do I think the skull plate was altered? Not one bit. I think the deer's real, but I think it was shot on a game ranch. Game ranches here in Michigan they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. And if you take those bucks that if you take all the bucks that were over 25 inches or 24 inches, they all look similar, which tells me it's in the genes. And the genes don't travel that good in a 2-hour drive, 3 counties away. I mean, it doesn't. How do you hear of a buck in a county 2 hours away? You go down there in a day and a half, and you shoot what was that buck? How wide was that buck? I think it was 28 inches wide. So he's got 4 or 5 bucks that are over 24, 25 inches, and before him, there's only 4 recorded in the whole state. Guys, come on. I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one thinking this, but anyway, it's sad. It's sad that one deer has brought so much divide into such a family traditional activity. This industry has gone so sideways, and that's the point of our show. Is we're just going to bring back the family tradition stuff, and having my longtime friend Keith here the other day. That was awesome. Loved having him here. But anyways, again, my opinion is those deer were alive, I guess, but they were shot on a ranch. There's just no doubt about it. Too many similarities. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyway, well, thanks for watching, and I'll have another episode out here in a few days. See ya.